Number 10. 1975 to 1980 AMC Pacer. The AMC Pacer debuted in 1975 as one of the most unconventional compacts ever assembled in America. Wide, rounded, and wrapped in glass, it was originally designed around a Wankel rotary engine that General Motors was contracted to supply and never delivered. AMC was forced to install a heavier conventional inline-six, leaving the car front-heavy from the first day it rolled off the line. The base 232 cubic inch, 3.8-liter, straight six put out around 100 horsepower in a body that weighed close to 3,000 pounds. The massive greenhouse, glass covering over 37% of the exterior, turned the cabin into a heat box and kept the cooling system under constant stress. Consumer surveys from the era recorded chronic overheating and electrical faults as the most common complaints. By 1980, AMC pulled the model without ever resolving the issues that were built into its original architecture. Number 9. 1970 to 1978 AMC Gremlin. The AMC Gremlin holds a notable distinction. It was launched on April 1, 1970, a date that proved oddly fitting. Developed by shortening the AMC Hornet platform, the Gremlin was conceived on a compressed schedule and a constrained budget. That combination showed up quickly in early ownership. Misaligned body panels, uneven gaps, and interior materials that wore out far ahead of expectations. The base 232 cubic inch inline-six delivered around 100 horsepower, mated to a solid rear axle that produced a rough, unpredictable ride on anything less than smooth pavement. Rust along the lower body was a persistent issue, particularly in northern states where road salt accelerated deterioration. The Gremlin sold consistently through its 8-year run, but dependability was rarely cited as a reason buyers chose it. Number 8. 1971 to 1977 Jaguar XJ6. The Jaguar XJ6 was widely regarded as one of the most refined sedans of its era, smooth, elegant, and composed at speed. British automotive press praised it on arrival in 1968, and the 1971 Series 2 update continued that reputation on paper. But underneath the polished exterior was an electrical system supplied almost entirely by Lucas Industries, a supplier so notoriously unreliable that British mechanics coined a lasting nickname, the Prince of Darkness. The 4.2-liter inline-six engine itself was generally well-engineered, but the surrounding electrical architecture, lighting, gauges, switches, and wiring harnesses failed with regularity in real-world ownership. In North American climates, the problems were amplified by humidity and temperature swings that exposed weaknesses in connectors and insulation. Consumer reports flagged the XJ6 for well below average reliability throughout the decade, and the cost of properly diagnosing and repairing its electrical faults put many owners off Jaguar ownership entirely. Number 7. 1974 to 1978 Ford Mustang II. Ford downsized the Mustang for 1974 with a clear mission: survive the fuel crisis. Built on the Pinto platform, the Mustang II abandoned performance in favor of economy. The base 2.3-liter four-cylinder produced just 88 horsepower, a steep drop from the car's prior identity, and buyers who expected a traditional Mustang driving experience were regularly disappointed at the dealership. Beyond the performance shortfall, the Mustang II carried the Pinto's known structural weaknesses, including an accelerated tendency to rust and recurring electrical gremlins. The available automatic transmissions showed early wear patterns that were well documented in period service records. Appearance packages like the Cobra II and Mach 1 added visual presence, but the mechanical substance beneath them remained underwhelming across the entire production run through 1978. Number 6, 1976 to 1980 Dodge Aspen. The Dodge Aspen arrived for 1976 as Chrysler's answer to the compact segment. Fresh styling, a range of body styles, and pricing aimed squarely at mainstream buyers. Within months of going on sale, it became apparent the car had been rushed to market. Chrysler issued an initial recall before the model year was even complete, and the recall activity never stopped. Over its production life, the Aspen accumulated one of the most extensive recall records of any American car in the decade, covering carburetor fires, brake failures, hood latch defects, and engine stalling. Premature rust was severe enough to dissolve fender wells and floor sections within 2 or 3 winters. Consumer Reports placed it among the lowest-rated American compacts of the period. Its Plymouth twin, the Volare, shared the same platform and the same documented deficiencies across every category. Number 5, 1975 to 1981 Triumph TR7. The Triumph TR7 was British Leyland's intended entry point into the American sports car market. Introduced in 1975, it featured wedge-shaped styling that was visually striking for its time. But inside the Speak factory in Liverpool, repeated labor strikes interrupted production so severely that consistency in build quality became impossible. The cars that reached dealerships reflected that disruption immediately. The 2.3-liter inline-4 produced around 105 horsepower in European trim, a competitive figure for the class. But cooling system failures, chronic carburetor faults, and electrical problems followed owners throughout the experience of owning one. Production shifted to Canley in 1978, but the TR7 standing with buyers never recovered. British Leyland ended production in 1981, and the model's legacy became more associated with its mechanical record than with anything it achieved on the road. Number 4, 1971 to 1977 Chevrolet Vega. Motor Trend awarded the Chevrolet Vega Car of the Year for 1971. That honor aged poorly. The Vega's 2.3-liter aluminum inline-4 was engineered without a conventional iron cylinder sleeve. The aluminum bore relied on precise thermal management to function correctly. Under real-world heat cycles, the block warped, oil consumption climbed, and engine wear accelerated well beyond what buyers had any reason to expect. Chevrolet issued recall after recall throughout the early years of production. Across the Vega's full model run, over 95 separate recall and safety campaigns were recorded by NHTSA, one of the highest totals for any single model of that era. Rust-penetrated body panels, floor sections, and structural areas within 2 to 3 seasons in cold climates. More than 2 million units were sold, but the Vega became a widely cited example of what happens when ambitious engineering outpaces proper development testing. Number 3, 1974 to 1980 Fiat X19. The Fiat X19 entered American showrooms as something genuinely rare, a mid-engine sports car with a removable targa roof, designed by Bertoni, sold at an accessible price. The layout was legitimately impressive for the segment and the budget. The problem was the metal holding it together. Italian steel from that period had minimal corrosion resistance, and buyers in northern U.S. states watched their cars rust structurally within just a few ownership years. The U.S. spec 1.3-liter four-cylinder was emissions restricted to approximately 75 horsepower, modest by any standard. Carburetor flooding, overheating, and electrical failures were consistent complaints across ownership surveys of the period. Fiat's American dealer and parts network was routinely criticized for being inadequate to support the cars already in the field. The accumulated damage to the brand's reputation proved unrecoverable. Fiat withdrew from the American market entirely by 1984. Number 2, 1971 to 1980 Ford Pinto. The Ford Pinto is among the most examined vehicles in American automotive history, and for well-documented reasons. Introduced in 1971 under direct pressure from Ford leadership to counter imported subcompacts, the car was developed in under 25 months. That timeline left a critical defect unaddressed. The 10-gallon fuel tank was placed between the rear bumper and the axle, where rear-end collisions could rupture it and trigger fires. NHTSA investigations later uncovered internal Ford memos containing a cost-benefit analysis that compared the price of a fuel system correction against the projected cost of legal settlements, a disclosure that became one of the most damaging in the industry's history. Ford recalled 1.5 million Pintos in 1978 to address the tank configuration. Beyond the safety record, the Pinto also accumulated routine complaints about body corrosion and electrical reliability. The model was pulled from production in 1980. Number 1. 1978 to 1985 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Diesel. When the fuel crisis made diesel engines appealing to American buyers, General Motors moved to capitalize quickly. For 1978, Oldsmobile introduced a diesel V8 option across its full-size lineup, including the Delta 88. The decision carried a structural flaw that would prove catastrophic. The LF9 5.7-liter diesel V8 was adapted directly from an existing gasoline engine block, a platform that was never engineered to withstand diesel compression ratios. Head gasket failures became widespread almost immediately. Defective seals allowed water to enter the fuel injection system, and the absence of proper fuel filtration caused irreversible internal damage in a large percentage of engines. Documented failures before 50,000 miles were common enough that class action lawsuits followed, and GM was compelled to launch multiple remediation programs.